Welcome back to my channel for another thought-provoking lecture. Today we are diving into the topic of people are going crazy. What's wrong with our world? Before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our latest lectures. Let's get started. People are going crazy. What is happening in our world today? It seems like every day we hear about more and more people acting out in bizarre ways. From acts of violence to strange and disturbing behavior, it can be difficult to understand motivations behind these actions and even harder to predict when they might happen. But there are patterns to human behavior, and by understanding them, we can gain insight into what might be driving some of the craziest people around us. Mental health issues. One of the most common reasons for people going crazy is mental health issues. Mental illness is a complex and often misunderstood condition that can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, or background. When someone is suffering from a mental illness, they may experience a range of symptoms that can alter their perception of reality and cause them to behave in unusual ways. For example, a person suffering from schizophrenia may start to believe that people are out to get them or that they have special powers. On the other hand, someone with bipolar disorder may become manic and feel euphoric and energetic, but also irritable and easily agitated. These symptoms can lead to impulsive and risky behavior, making it seem as though the person has gone crazy. It is important to remember that mental health issues are not a sign of weakness, and that people who are struggling should be treated with compassion and understanding. However, it is also important to recognize the warning signs of mental illness and seek help if you or someone you know is struggling. Early intervention and treatment can make a big difference in managing symptoms and preventing more serious problems from developing. Substance abuse. Other factor that can cause people to go crazy is substance abuse. Drugs and alcohol can have a profound impact on the brain and body and can alter a person's perception, mood, and behavior. Some substances can cause hallucinations, delusions, and extreme paranoia, while others can lead to aggression and violence. People who are under the influence of drugs or alcohol may not be aware of the consequences of their actions and may not remember what they did later on. This can lead to a loss of control and an inability to cope with everyday situations in a healthy or productive way. For example, a person who is addicted to methamphetamine may become so paranoid that they believe that everyone is out to get them. They may start to see things that are really there and may lash out violently if they feel threatened. Similarly, someone who is heavily intoxicated may lose inhibitions and engage in risky sexual behavior or become violent without any provocation. Substance abuse is a serious issue that can have devastating consequences for individuals, families, and communities. But it's important to remember that addiction is a disease, and that people who are struggling with substance abuse need treatment and support, not judgment or punishment. There are many resources available to help people who are struggling with addiction, including therapy, support groups, and rehabilitation centers. Trauma and abuse. Past experiences of trauma or abuse can also play a role in causing people to go crazy. People who have experienced severe emotional or physical trauma may develop post-traumatic stress disorder, which can cause them to be hypervigilant and constantly on edge. They may also have difficulty controlling their emotions and may be easily triggered into a state of panic or anxiety. For example, a person who has been in a car accident may become extremely anxious around cars, or a person who has been assaulted may become hypervigilant in crowded places. Similarly, people who have experienced abuse may develop a range of negative beliefs and attitudes towards themselves and others, which can lead to self-destructive behavior or a tendency to seek out harmful relationships. It is important to remember that people who have experienced trauma or abuse are not to blame for what happened to them, and that they may need time and support to heal. Extreme beliefs and values. In some cases, people may go crazy due to their extreme beliefs and values. This can be seen in people who belong to extremist groups or have a strong sense of religious fervor. For example, a person who belongs to a cult may be so committed to their group's beliefs that they are willing to engage in bizarre or even criminal behavior to please their leaders or protect the group. Similarly, a person who is experiencing religious mania may become obsessed with the idea that they are chosen by God and that they must spread their message to the world, even if that means behaving in unconventional or disruptive ways. It is important to remember that people who hold extreme beliefs are still human beings, who deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. However, it is also important to be aware of the potential dangers of extremism and to challenge harmful beliefs whenever possible. Social media and technology. The rise of social media and technology has also played a role in some people going crazy. The constant exposure to unrealistic beauty standards and the pressure to maintain a perfect online image can lead to body dysmorphia and other mental health issues. Additionally, the anonymity and lack of accountability on social media platforms can embolden people to behave in cruel and hateful ways towards others. Some people may become so absorbed in their online lives that they lose touch with reality and develop unhealthy attachments to their devices and social media accounts. This can lead to a range of problems, including social isolation, decreased self-esteem, and an inability to form meaningful relationships in the real world. It is important to be aware of the potential dangers of social media and technology and to use them responsibly and in moderation. Taking breaks from social media, setting boundaries for screen time, and being mindful of the content that you consume and share can all help to prevent the negative effects of social media and technology from causing you or someone you know to go crazy. Law enforcement and government. While it asks, important to remember that law enforcement and government officials are there to protect and serve the public. It's also important to be aware of the potential for abuse of power. In some rare cases, police officers or other government officials may become corrupt and use their authority to harm or exploit others. Additionally, government agencies may engage in surveillance or other activities that infringe on the privacy and civil liberties of citizens. When this happens, it can lead to a breakdown in trust and a sense of paranoia among the population. It is important to hold law enforcement and government officials accountable and to be aware of your rights and the laws that are supposed to be protecting you. If you suspect that a law enforcement officer or government official is engaging in corrupt or abusive behavior, it's important to report it to the appropriate authority. In conclusion, there are many different factors that can cause people to go crazy. Mental health issues, substance abuse, past experiences of trauma or abuse, extreme beliefs and values, social media and technology, law enforcement and government, all of these can play a role in shaping a person's behavior and can sometimes push them over the edge. It is important to remember that people who are struggling should be treated with compassion and understanding, and that there is help available for those who need it. By working together, we can create a world that is more accepting, supportive, and compassionate towards those who are struggling and help to prevent people from going crazy in the first place. We hope that this lecture has given you a new perspective on the topic of people are going crazy. What's wrong with our world? And that it has inspired you to learn more about the subject. Remember that knowledge is power and that by educating ourselves, we can create a better future for ourselves and for others. Thank you for joining us on this thought-provoking journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more enlightening lectures. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep seeking answers, and keep challenging the status quo.